Disney's Folly, the project that would end his company and send Walt Disney back to obscurity. Or at least, that's what Disney would be told about the biggest risk he's taken so far. Hello everyone, this is Wayne with Almost There Travel Company. We're continuing our series going through 100 Years of Wonder with the Walt Disney Company. Now we're going to be talking about the 1930s and how it set the company on its path towards dominating the animated film industry. So pack away those pickaxes and take a break from the diamond mine, because it's off to work we go. Walt burst into the 30s on top. Silly Symphony, a musical cartoon series distributed by Columbia Pictures, was going strong. He would release the first Mickey Mouse comic strip in 1930, inspiring a young Osamu Tezuka in Japan to make his own comics. Check out our video on that topic on our channel. By 1931, Mickey Mouse would be licensed to a company making Mickey-branded writing tablets, making him the first licensed character. There were some bumps in the road, however. In 1930, Walt's number 2 of iWorks left the Walt Disney Company to form his own studio, fittingly called iWorks Studio. Disney would also have a falling out with Columbia Pictures over the distribution of Silly Symphonies, moving distribution over to United Artists instead in 1932. Although this transition was difficult, this ended up being the best move for Silly Symphonies. The series got more popular, and in 1932, the short Flower and Trees was released. It was the first full-color cartoon, and that year it won the Academy Award for Best Cartoon. In 1933, The Three Little Pigs won the Academy Award for Best Cartoon as well. The following year, Donald Duck would be introduced in his debut title, The Wise Little Hen. And the year after that, Mickey would make his color debut in the band concert. Then, in 1934, Walt Disney had an idea. Let's make a feature-length animated film. Roy O. Disney and Lillian Disney both thought this was a terrible idea. No one had ever cel animated an entire movie before, and it was sure to bankrupt the company. In Hollywood, the movie became known as Disney's Folly. But, inspired by the 1916 silent movie he had seen as a teenager, Walt pressed on to make his own version of the grim fairy tale Snow White. To make the first full-length animated movie, the Disney Company created the multiplane camera. It is a remarkable animation tool. By lining up multiple drawings on different layers of glass, with a camera pointing down from above, a sense of depth is created. When you take a new frame, you can move the layers at different speeds, making the background animate separately from the foreground. While creating the movie, Walt wanted to make sure that, unlike the original story, the dwarfs had distinct names and personalities. From a pool of about 50 dwarf names, including Deafy, Baldy, Lazy, and Burpy, he eventually settled on Doc, Grumpy, Bashful, Sleepy, Happy, Jumpy, and Seventh, who was deaf. Eventually, the last two were renamed to Sneezy and Dopey. The movie was originally more comedic, featuring a larger and more cartoony evil queen. The prince would also serenade Snow White in a goofy fashion, being more of a clown. Walt Disney offered his staff $5 for every gag submitted. Eventually, Walt worried that the goofy tone of the movie would undermine it, and wanted to tone down some aspects, especially the queen. He didn't feel that her being fat and cartoony was good for the movie, and now wanted her to be more stately and elegant. Walt started this passion project with a budget of $150,000, but after ever-changing ideas and creating brand new technology, the movie ended up taking 3 years and a whopping $1.5 million to make. During production, Walt would need to mortgage his house for funds, and eventually needed an additional loan of $250,000 to finish it. Reportedly, when Walt showed a rough cut to a Bank of America executive, Joseph Rosenberg, Joseph told him, "Walt, this thing is going to make a handful of money," before giving him the loan. After all that, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, distributed by RKO Radio Pictures, had its premiere night on December 12, 1937, at the Carthay Circle Theater in Los Angeles. The film would go on to gross $8 million, becoming the highest-grossing film of all time up to that point. It was nominated for the Best Musical Score Oscar in 1938, and in 1939 Walt Disney won an honorary Oscar for the film. Walt knew he was on the forefront of something big, and before Snow White even came out, he was already working on their next two films, Pinocchio and Bambi. But that's a story for a different decade. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment telling me what you thought, and subscribe to make sure you're notified when the next decade's video is released. And also, see you real soon.